Hey guys, the Gundam Boy here today. We're going to be looking at all the weapons from a casual perspective, which means I'm going mainly off of experience from using these weapons, none of the crazy data bits that will probably drive you insane if I try to read through. Think of it as a video for people who just come home from work and want to play the game and know what gun's good. This is the video for you. I have all the war bonds and I've used all the weapons and... hey, stop looking at my statistics, what a pervert! And to make sure that everybody gets an idea of how easy the weapon is to use, I'm gonna go from 1 star to 3 star. 1 star being the easiest and 3 stars being the most difficult. Alright, so we'll start with the Liberator. This is your basic assault rifle, and with the update that improves this gun's damage, it makes it more suitable to take down bigger enemies by ripping into every weak point on that target. The gun is also a crowd-controlled monster on small targets, but fuck if you need to fight any light armored enemies, this motherfucker does not do well. So here you can take a look at the gun. It has auto, semi, and a burst mode. Scope range goes from 25 all the way to 100 meters. But overall, the gun has great handling, it's perfect for newbies, and I could trust my grandma using this gun. Can you guys trust your grandma with a gun? No, probably not, because your grandma's not cool like mine. Yeah, so the Liberator Carbine is just a hyperactive cousin to this gun, as this motherfucker goes brr, brr, real quickly. This gun basically is just a close quarters of the Liberator. It will fire really quickly, and it handles about the same, so yeah, it's a pretty good gun. The Liberator Penetrator is a great gun as it's capable of crowd-controlling targets, but can also deal with light armored enemies. There was an update that makes this gun's recoil less horrendous when aiming down the sight, so it doesn't look like the scope's beating your eye blue, but now it's a pretty good gun for accurate long-range shots. And with the ammo of 45, this gun gives more than enough power to spray down a Devastator, which means it can do its description job as it's intended to, not like before where it felt like you're tickling the enemies. The gun has auto, semi, and a burst mode, and a range of 150 meters for the sight, so you can really magnify those targets. Unreleased, this gun was comically bad and no one would dare to touch it, except for the few people who needed to climb through the war bonds. But this gun has climbed back up in terms of viability, and it's been pretty damn good. I'd recommend this gun if you're that crowd controller teammate, or that guy who likes to hunt down all the Devastators. Liberator Concussive is that one kid in school that says the most outlandish shit to make the class go quiet. Yeah, it leaves everybody visibly stunned. That's what this gun does. Every bullet stuns the fuck out of a target. Beat on enemies' weak points to make them play Dance Dance Go Fuck Yourself, Bug Boy, while your teammate with the recoilless rifle gets ready to shoot you in the back. This gun handles pretty well just like any other Liberator. The only difference is that this gun shoots really damn slow. But every shot you make will stop them and confuse the enemy as they jiggle behind rocks, trying to get out of it. Definitely a gun you run for interference. I can't really see myself using it just because I have a gun I like from the assault rifle class. There's no magnification and the gun doesn't have any fire change modes because guess what? It shoots slow! But in terms of handling, this is a good gun to run with teammates. Do not run alone with this. The Tenderizer, coming from the worst possible warbond in the past. Oh boy, did everybody hate this fucking gun, because it sucked ass. But with the more recent updates, the Tenderizer is the Liberator, but cooler, with a unique ability, alternate firing modes. This means it can be good at bug and bot popper, and it's great at crowd control, because you can really accurately single out their weak points. This gun makes my neurons erect! Oh! So this gun has auto, semi, and a burst mode. The max range you can get on this sight is 100, so you can really magnify the targets. This is what it looks like. What the fuck are you looking at? Ah! This is the only gun to actually have this fire setting where you can just rip into enemies and oh, it increases the Tenderizer's time to kill by a lot. Great handling, great accuracy, great everything. Only if it was medium pen. Oh, and totally not the gun I forgot about in my last video, the Adjudicator. The Adjudicator is the banhammer on those pesky light armor targets. Its stopping power is way more noticeable and it's still capable of holding off crowd controlling, with more precise shots, especially with the recent updates. That means the Adjudicator, with its medium pen rounds and its big ass damage right there, means it will pop fuckers left and right. Each shot of this gun kicks like a donkey, so be aware of landing your shots accurately, because this gun has some kick! Has some slower handling when it comes to looking left and right, but this gun's barely noticeable, and it's pretty good to use, especially if you're the medium pen target killer. Time to look at the Marksman family now, starting off with the Diligence. The Diligence is the gun for you PC players, H2O fall, who need to absolutely land every shot on a weak point. It's great at picking off single targets, but if you get tunnel vision, you might find that another patrol snuck up on you. It has great stopping power, don't be ready for that trigger finger to work, because close range engagements with a shit ton of guys shooting at you is not really optimal for a marksman rifle, now is it? It can only fire in semi-auto, but it does have a magnifying range of 150 at max. The gun is easy to handle. I do notice that sometimes though firing this gun in the first person POV is kinda weird because the bullets fly really far. The recoil in this gun is kinda weird, I will say personally, but I'm not a marksman user, so wah. But you know what gun makes me a marksman user? The counter sniper. The counter sniper is the big brother of the diligence. He hits harder and can break light armor, but he's also afraid of people who break the 6 feet apart rule. This gun is a killer against bots, but I would never use it against bugs. This scope is much nicer than the diligence too. Like, look at this. It has a nice crosshair, and I know where to aim in the middle. The nature of this gun being a medium pen gun means it will pop bots left and right, and it can kill berserkers if you get a lucky headshot off or after a couple of shots to the body. I didn't even think I'd land that shot, I'm gonna be real with you. I was surprised that I flicked that one. Gun has a bit of weird handling though. There's a lot of like weight behind turning the gun, but it's pretty accurate overall. You just need to take your time while aiming. Next up is the gun that pissed off all the tryhards in the game, the Constitution! Don't expect a lot out of this gun. It is archaic. It is the epitome of, hey grandma, can I borrow your rifle? 5 shots in this thing. It has 5 shots, and then you have to individually reload all the rounds. But, you know what it has that no other weapon can do? Stab! Stab! It's a medium pen gun, but honestly, if you're looking for something to hunt medium pen targets, there's a lot of other weapons on the list. Its range is pretty limited because it has an iron sight like this, but hey, it's a fun gun for meme runs. And to get this gun, you can use the power of the back of your credit card. The Knight is the short friend of the group. It bites like a small dog, but if this dog bit at the fire rate, 100 chihuahuas coming at you because you pissed on them. It's alright. I'd say it's a pretty okay gun. But god damn, does full auto and first person make this motherfucker kick up. And don't even get me started on third person. Look at that horrendous spread if you don't fight back. Otherwise, this gun would be pretty good at ripping holes into all the enemies because you could just mag dump the shit out of them. Otherwise, this gun's pretty underwhelming. I would not recommend for much use. Next up is the Defender SMG, a gun that hits a bit more than the starter gun, but shoots slower. This gun is a one-handed version of the Liberator. I mean, the gun doesn't do anything impressive, but damn is it reliable in close quarters with its low recoil. And if you need to do any of the objectives where it requires you to carry those stupid fucking data packets, you have the gun to run. No magnifying on this gun, I mean, look at its scope. Can you really blame it? And if you're that same dude who said that you want a shotgun that shoots beyond 100 meters, I need you to take the counter sniper and put it up your ass. But Pummeler is basically the same gun, but if you added pocket sand in every shot. Its slower fire rate makes it pretty easy to use. It's the gun you use to beat down on targets while you're jorking it with the other hand. Stun lock the enemies that you hate while you wonder why you chose this gun over anything else. It's an alright gun, but be ready to deal with swapping between targets if you're going up against bugs. This is a gun where you really need to aim for the weak points because the time of kill is kinda wonky, unless it's a bot. Now we have the Reprimand, the gun of controversy. But what it lacks in accuracy and range, it makes up for the smacking nuts and guts out of enemies. With a whopper of damage and medium pen rounds, this gun will help you lobotomize enemies and teammates alike. With this wild recoil though, I would not recommend this gun for new players to the game, as some people really hate this gun for that fact. But someone interestingly noted in the comments that aiming down the sights actually makes this gun way more accurate than if you're to go over the shoulder, so keep that in mind. I'm not going to cover this gun too much because I do have its own separate video for it, so yeah, check that video out if you want to see like the full cover of it. TDLR though, this gun hits hard, it has wonky accuracy, would not recommend for new players, and yeah, it's a great gun. Now it's time for the shotgun! The Punisher, the good old pump and dump shotgun, has its 405 damage guarantees it will knock out most of these motherfuckers. Range is pretty good. I mean, it's a shotgun, so don't expect sniper shots with this fucker. Take the counter sniper for that! It is round reload, so have fun reloading every single shell in this 16 magazine gun. And surprise, look, there's nothing, because guess what? It's a shotgun. What else do you need it to do, huh? Next up is the Slugger. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a slug shotgun. Load up your gastropoda rounds and watch them stun the bugs harder than coming out as gay to your conservative father. The shotgun can rip holes in big targets, but be ready for crowd control situations as you can only dish out damage one shot at a time. Great gun for taking out medium targets, terrible gun for dealing with all of the fucking jumping bugs, but otherwise it's a great gun for singling out heavy targets, and I think it's a good starter weapon for that. Now we have the Punisher, but if it was cooler, the Cookout. This is the gun you want to use when you have to crowd control, but you load your shotgun shells with ghost peppers and thermite. The stopping power doesn't matter when most of the enemies are roasted by the time they can catch up to you, and this does some serious damage, even against bigger targets like the Brood Commanders. These guys will melt from a flame. It can be a little bit of a learning curve to use, as you kind of want to keep some distance while firing these flame shots to burn the enemies, so when they run towards you, you can blast them with another set of fire. The Dragon Breath shotgun munition spreads really wide, so if you're firing where teammates are, don't be surprised if they burst into flames immediately and team kill you after. Otherwise, it's easy to use. I mean, like, come on, it's a shotgun, it has fire. Fire shotgun, doesn't get more difficult than that. Point and shoot. Breaker was the GOAT back then, and with its ability to full auto means you can pepper spray all targets that cross your barrel. This gun will blow its load pretty quickly though, so be ammo aware with this one. The high rate of fire means bye-bye to any brood commanders and unsuspecting teammates that don't see your shotgun. This weapon is practically foolproof. You could give this to a baby, a monkey, an ant, and it would have no problem killing the entire horde. Easy to control, easy to aim, what else can you ask for? The only thing you lose out is on range, but it's a shotgun! Skipping over the breaker spray and pray because it makes you mad that it's bird shot. The breaker incendiary was the original bug burner weapon, and it will totally never be nerfed again. Come on, this gun's just too good to not use. Do I really need to explain it? I'm pretty sure everyone's gooned on this gun already. Alright, we're gonna get a little bombastic now. Feeling medieval, wanna bomb someone? Then the exploding crossbow is the weapon for you! Point and click patrols away and bully heavy devs through their shield. This gun is just made for bombing the enemy while hiding behind your riot shield, pussy. Just be careful because of how close they get, that 620 damage means business. Also have fun calculating the bullet drop since the crossbow is limited at range. But it can close bug holes and destroy bases, so yippee! The gun has no problem with handling otherwise. I mean, other than having to calculate bullet drop with this crossbow, that's probably like the only difficult thing. Otherwise, has great handling, has nice little sight to aim down. It's just, yeah, it's great. Oh, next up is the Erupta, the big-ass gun with big-ass damage. This gun gives you the range you need to snipe crowds and rip holes into swarms. This gun is great at stopping heavy targets, but at the slow reloading cost and ungodly handling makes it very difficult to use in the field. It's a very difficult weapon to use, but it's a monster in the field once it's mastered. I mean, like, look at that, boom, massive explosion, big turn, slow reload. Would not recommend this gun for the new divers, because you can get overwhelmed by crowds if you don't handle this gun properly. It's really about keeping your distance with this one and blasting them. And if you try to do anything at close range, God forbid you pull that trigger, because you will be dust. Next is the energy weapons. Punisher Plasma is the grenade launcher of the plasma weapons. This gun has bullet drop, so aim well, and you will become the Wraith of the Helldivers. This gun is great at crowd controlling and stunning the enemies. Just don't be like my girlfriend and try to help teammates who are being swarmed by a bug up close, because if you shoot them, they're most likely going to fall over and die and come back and kill you. Great handling. You don't even have to aim down the sights for this gun. I mean, like, it's such a easy to use gun. You can give it to any newbie and they'll be doing just fine. Especially because this gun is capable of knocking back enemies like Devastators. You can juggle them before they can start ripping their heavy devs at you. Next is the Blitzer. Harness the power of the Emperor! Spell Eye Cup. Blast the group with lightning and chain that lightning through the targets. You can also hold the fire button on this gun and it will just tear holes into all the bug groups. Don't try this against the bots though, they probably will outrange you. Probably one of the most like dummy easy use guns too out there. Like come on, you can just point and click with this thing and zap these bugs. Ah, the Scythe. Recreate the days of shining laser pointers at the local airliners. This gun will pop targets left and right, but be ready to cross the beams on bigger targets as you're gonna rely on that damage. On bots, you probably will aim for the heads and they'll all pop like balloons, but I can guarantee you shooting at some of these brood commanders it feels like 3 years to try and kill them. Why won't you die? This gun is perfect for aiming at long ranges, especially if you're going up against bots, as they added a new ability called Magnification. This gun should have had this a long time ago. This gun has been buffed since the original release, and it has been a lot better, so I would recommend this gun for people who just want to point and click. No recoil too, so you can just sit back and shine it at everybody's eyes and win the mission. The Sickle was the original assault rifle, as this gun would tear into all the enemies. Bots, bugs, it didn't matter, this thing would just keep ripping. Though it did have a fallback, which is overheating. And I know, I sound like a broken record, but this is also a very easy gun to use. Very, very not difficult to fucking point and shoot with this, unless you have problems managing your heat or ammo consumption. I think this gun is pretty good, honestly. There's nothing I can really say that's bad about it. Handles well, I mean, the overheating's kinda boo-hoo, but guess what? You don't have to overheat it now, do you? Okay, and the Plasma Scorcher. I know it! I get it! You guys like this gun! The Scorcher is the gun you use when you want to win, or your teammate forces you, or he'll kill you every time you spawn in. Everyone and their mother will tell you that this gun is the GOAT at multi-rolling in any mission. Basically, everyone jorks into this gun. Oh, you could give this gun to a monkey, and he could probably complete a level 8 mission. Oh, touch me, Daddy, +1 Scorcher. I'm going to go. Anyways, on the real note, this gun is, yeah, it's actually a really good gun. Easy to control, easy to aim. Full auto makes this gun even better at its game. Like, come on, 200 damage on a full auto plas gun. You're guaranteed to swipe out at least a couple of squats before you need to reload. Otherwise, it's a pretty good gun. Next up is the Purifier. The gun is the heavy swinger of the team. Its charge shots can do numbers on the group while still being able to rapidly fire. It has no problem taking down anything light armor or medium, and you can guarantee that that blast shot will do a shit ton of damage to anybody caught in it. Not a gun I'd recommend for new players, though. If you're a new player looking to use this gun, take some time to practice it, because charging up the shots can be either life saving or life-ending. And the flame torture is for roasting and area control. Let out your inner American soldier. Roast the trees and bushes because they sound suspicious every time you walk past them. This gun is good for defensive positions, but be careful walking forward. It will cook yourself like walking into your own pepper spray. I'd say this is a more difficult weapon to use for new players because the intention is that you want to push forward and take a ground. Due to the nature of shooting actual fire out of your gun and covering the ground in flames, it's not typically ideal for advances. But be ready to keep roasting heavy targets because it will take a little bit longer to kill them. It can be done. It's just going to be a bit. God, it's like waiting for your food to finish microwaving. Lastly, we have the Jar Dominator, the thunk of the guns. Mainly good at singling out light armored targets and heavier dudes. This gun is capable of ripping through armored, but be ready to juggle around crowds because this gun on bugs or bots that are faster than you will make wielding this gun a hassle. But its overall stopping power makes this gun a beast to master. It can fire in a burst mode, which is kind of awkward because of the recoil is really high, but if you can get that down, it's pretty nice. Yeah, otherwise, if you can get used to the handling of this gun, go for it. But I'd say this gun is not good for newcomers to this game, just because of its awkward handling. Like, look at this. This gun can be very hard to flick shots between targets. Maybe if you're running in a group, it's not as much as a problem, but when you're trying to do single-out missions by yourself, this might not be the best gun for you. Otherwise, that's the end of the video. Like I said before, I don't really like to go into the whole statistics and deep dive all the weapons and have to look at every little, like, critical data thing to be like, oh, yes, this gun is technically like, I can't really think of a gun that's objectively bad in this game except for the Constitution and initially the Liberator Pen before it got buffed. But ever since they've been updating this game, all the weapons have been feeling great. Like, I really can't complain about any of the guns I've been using. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and why don't you guys let me know what kind of weapons you'd like to see in the future. Me personally, I would like to see a handheld Gatling gun. I need me a minigun. You could even make it a backpack weapon for all I care. Just give me a minigun, please. But that's the end of my video. Hope to see you guys on the battlefield. Get ready for diving! The nuke flying off in the distance.
Yeah!
That's so cool.
Up it goes.